listen, I'm not in the business to teach you anything. You are the last person I'm going to teach anything. Now, General Pannoon, I want to also bring in another aspect here. Two things have actually developed over the last 48 hours. One, what's really happening inside Pakistan. In Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, today in Neelam, there were about 2 civilians who were killed. The Pakistani police opened fire. This is after demands that were made by the AAC that fundamental rights of the citizens were being taken away for the last 70 years. There have been protests that are taking place. In the last 1 week, there has also been bombs that have been dropped. Bombs that have been dropped by the Pakistanis. And of course, what you see right now, these are images of the so-called Pakistani cricketers who have been essentially sportsman-like. That's what they say. I'm told that the Pakistanis have left my show tonight, and that's how difficult it is getting for the Pakistanis. General Pannu, the reality is that the Pakistanis have now left. I want to broaden the debate a little bit because these are very significant geopolitical developments that have taken place, General Pannu.
We all know that Pakistan is a fractured country. No state is knit well with the overall Punjabi domination of politics and the army. Pakistan Army actually writes the script, and certain agents which carry the script on the borders or in the cricket teams or people who shape the perception are generally the script which is based on the ISPR and ISI. And same translates into a displayed aggression through the cricket field. And obviously the gestures of the players on the cricket field were not in the sportsman spirit which you were showing. This is not how you play cricket with bats trying to show that, they are weapons. Bats are not weapons. They are, items with which you play games.
Right.
And games are basically meant to come together and build bonhomie rather than, fracture and bring in certain irritant, in the value and the content of the game. So having said that, you see what happens is that for years together, I have been seeing that whenever India and Pakistan play a cricket match, when Pakistan wins or India wins, mostly India wins, the Pakistanis open up on the line of control. This is how they display aggression. So the military and the cricket are wedded in display of aggression. They are poor losers, they are poor players, but some of them are very good players. I mean, not saying that after all, when you respect the team, you play with the team. They are good bowlers, but Indians are very good batsmen. Even in the military, you find that the bowling is done by the Pakistan. You see, they take the initiative of throwing the ball or the bomb, and India responds to it very well. And then Pakistan goes around and humdrums and brings a lot of people to field for them. And today they have gone and rallied around Americans to field for them. I'm just trying to correlate the game with the diplomacy and how they conduct the business universally. And between the Chief of Army Staff, now the, the Field Marshal, who's serving Field Marshal, not too many Field Marshals are active Field Marshals and Chief of Army Staff. He's actually behaving like a president. He takes the Prime Minister of Pakistan in tow with him. Otherwise, the Prime Minister of Pakistan would not be given access to meet Trump. It is not that the Prime Minister of Pakistan took the Chief of Army or the Field Marshal. It is the other way around. In fact, he's the one who gets permission only because Munir is there, and then he was only there for a photo opportunity. So what I'm saying is that actually the whole script is being run and played by Munir today. They are the ones who detail people to do certain things in a certain manner because they want to irritate India. And by irritating India, they evoke a certain response, and then they want to go and internationalize the whole situation. And I think cricket field is also where they would want to internationalize the whole situation between India and Pakistan. So if that is what it is, then you have to see not only from a cricket field, but you have to see from a larger perspective of how these two countries have been behaving with one another.
Mr. Rao, I want to take the last word from you. Now that we have the opportunity, minus the surround sound coming in from the Pakistanis, There was a lot of jingoism associated with the matches that were essentially being played, and that is the reason why there is a section which argued all this while that should we have at all played it to begin with? Should we have at all played with Pakistan in the backdrop of what really happened? Or the argument is very clear that do not mix both of them, and can that be continued further? I want to give you the last word.
See, I've been very clear, that India had no business to say yes in that ACC meeting that we are going to take part in the tournament. Indians were the designated host. Indians had every right to say it is, these circumstances.
But you heard
are
the
not
argument that was being made. The argument was saying that we do not have a choice.
I was very clear. It was so close to what happened in India, what happened, the way India responded by going across the border, destroying whatever air bases they had. That is all different. I'm saying, why did we say yes? This is in contradiction to what India's stand has been, that isolate Pakistan on all international forums. This was a fantastic opportunity. What you ended up doing, just by agreeing to, have this tournament, by saying that, no, this is not, this is not bilateral, this is unilateral, multilateral, whatever you can say that. But the point is, you gave them an opportunity to act and react on a certain stage, which they never deserved. Now we have to bear the brunt of it because they are going to any level. You can't fathom that level, that low that Pakistani is capable of going to. So when you are dealing with semi-literate cricketers, you expect courtesy from them. Sorry, boss. Then we are the ones we are the ones who should think twice. What are we expecting? These guys haven't even completed their formal education. They are the ones who have spent their time on cricket fields, and their minds are actually tuned to a certain narrative, which they've been fed from day one. So what do you expect from them? What do you expect? Their gestures are not only objectionable, they're almost obscene. This is what I'm trying to say, that from the moment you agreed to play with them, you have actually opened the floodgates. Then there was no stopping. Then expect the worst from this country. This is as far as India is concerned, this is a rogue nation. Let's not forget that. Why do we do that? Right from 1947, perpetually, we have been at war. How do you forget and say, no, because we are not playing with them in a series, but this is a tournament. This is Asia Cup. Who cares for Asia Cup, you tell me? India has won it 9 times now. If I ask you what happened in the 4th edition, which India won, not one person will be able to recall that. That is how the recall goes. So it is just another continental tournament. It should have been treated as one. I don't know why we did this. Even now, I'm at a loss to understand that this government took that stand. Of course, we won 3 times. We were expected to win all 3 times because India is the number 1 team in the world. Pakistan is 7 in the world. Look at the Gulf. So what I'm trying to say is, if India had beaten them twice but lost yesterday, all those victories, all those joy of the first 2 would have evaporated in a moment. And I dread to think what would have happened in both countries, with people taking to the streets for the wrong reason. Pakistan would have gone berserk in Dubai, on the streets of Pakistan. Indian fans would have reacted differently because they would have felt cheated. Think about it. Just spare a thought. What would have happened if India had not won yesterday? That's why I'm saying there was a lot riding there. Indians were perpetually under pressure, much more than Pakistan. Pakistan has got used to it. 8-0, statistically. So they know how it feels to be smashed day after day. But Indians
that's a great point, Mr. Rao, that you've made.
How it feels. So Indians took a big risk, but 3-0 is 3-0. That is history. A trophy, medal, that is symbolic. That will come to India because ICC one day is going to say, you need that 15 million, which is the broadcaster's share, which you get. Every full nation is entitled to 15%.
Right.
Or rather, that is like 20%. That is $15 million for all the 5 full nations of the ICC. All ICC has to do is to call up, say, Naqvi and say, listen, get those trophies and medals to India. Otherwise, you are not getting that share. They will come on bended knees.
Mr. Rao, that's a fantastic point that you've actually made. And perhaps that argument will always remain whether at all we should have actually played in the first place or not. Mr. Rao, as well as General Pannu, thank you very much for joining us on the first debate. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump's top aide and US Commerce Secretary made a fresh attempt to lecture India on trade policies. US claimed that India needs to be fixed and stop harming US interests. Now, this amid the trade talks, tensions, and the H-1B threat. Here's a quick report, and then we debate.
US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is at it again. In what could be called the most racist comment yet from the Trump administration, Lutnick has now said in an interview that India needs to be fixed. The tone was condescending. Lutnick lectured that while the issues will eventually be sorted, India needs to react correctly to the United States. In an indirect response, Union Minister of Commerce and Industries Piyush Goyal clarified that even though the talks are ongoing with the United States, it is not the only country India is speaking to.
यूएस के साथ बातचीत चल रही है, ईयू के साथ यानी ईयू के 27 देशों का समूह, उनके साथ बातचीत चल रही है, न्यूजीलैंड, ओमान, पेरू, चिली, ये दर्शाता है कि आज भारत के प्रति कितना आकर्षण है पूरे विश्व में और विकसित देशों में विशेषकर.
In fact, Goyal recently led a high-level delegation to the United States, the first one since Trump's 50% tariff came into force. The meeting remained constructive and both sides agreed to expedite conclusion of a mutually beneficial trade agreement. When Trump 2.0 used trade and tariffs as a tool to pressurize,
let them know that we put a very big tariff on India, 50% tariff, very high tariff. I get along very well with Modi, as you know. He's great. He was here a couple of months ago. In fact, we went to the Rose Garden and the grass was so soaking wet. It was so...
Many countries gave in, but India decided to fight back with a firm stand.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है. भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा. और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं.
India showed what being a world power means, forcing Trump to climb down.
I'm very close to India. I'm very close to the Prime Minister of India. I spoke to him the other day, wished him a happy birthday. We have a very good relationship.
Yet, Trump and his aides continue to school India, hoping a favorable reaction. It's time for the United States to smell the coffee and step down from the pedestal of a hegemon that it is not anymore.
David, I want to start by asking you that $2,400 per year that an American household would actually be spending, that's more than what they were spending earlier because of the tariffs that are being imposed. And this is a research that has been done by the Yale University. Who exactly needs to be fixed, America or India at this point in time?
Right, so straight off the bat, that's incredibly misleading. An incredibly misleading statement for all of your viewers. So let's.
I'm not saying. I'm just quoting. I'm quoting the research that has been done by the Budget Lab at Yale University.
So if I can respond to that, right? So India needs to be fixed. That means. So what does that actually mean? Okay. So that means that the current trade that we have with India and the current tariffs and the current trade tariffs India has against the United States needs to be renegotiated, okay, and fixed, right? And that is what the great ally of the United States, India, is doing at the moment. We are currently fixing and resolving tariffs. We are currently fixing and resolving trade. When it comes to America, it's all about fair trade. So the American Fair Trade Initiative is growing. India is one of the parties, is one of the counterparties we're currently negotiating with. So that's what's happening.
Saurabh Shukla, how exactly is this fair? David says that this is an attempt that is being made to rationalize it. Is it really fair? What we have essentially seen over the last couple of months, the reason why India has been arguing is that we are not opening up our markets when it comes to agriculture. And fair enough, you've heard what the Prime Minister had to say as to why exactly this will be protected. How exactly is it fair?
Shravan, I'm here in Washington, D.C., and I'll give you the view that is here in the White House and what's the general view here. Obviously, Howard Lutnick's statement certainly is something which has to be understood in a different context. You have to see what President Trump is saying. He has all along said that Prime Minister Modi and him have the best chemistry, and he has the highest respect for the Indian Prime Minister, and Prime Minister Modi has reciprocated that. Now, tariff is a strategic, if you may call a strategic weapon for President Trump. He has different people in his orbit who say different things at times. But I can tell you right now that India and the US are in the midst of a discussion which is at I would say, a final stage where there is a meeting of minds when it comes to the issue of trade and tariffs, and things will happen. Having said that, I would say from both sides, we should avoid any statements which will have an impact and bearing on the relationship, and also creates doubts in the minds of people at large, because at the end of the day, this relationship is too precious. Both countries have invested a great deal. Both the leaders, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Trump, have contributed a lot in creating a momentum of a US-India partnership. And we cannot let statements from any side trying to derail this partnership, because there's so much at stake. It's not about trade alone. It's about defense. It's about strategic cooperation. It's about Indo-Pacific. It's about the US-India diaspora links. So there are so many other things which are there. So I would say that we have to obviously make sure that the relationship is brought back on an even keel, and certainly these statements do not help. But I can tell you, even the negotiation part, I don't think Mr. Lutnick is part of these negotiations anymore. It's a USTR who is negotiating, who had discussions with the Commerce Minister when he was in the US. So I think negotiation is working on a different track now. Shravan.
So who exactly is basically trying to derail this? Willem, in terms of the impact that India would essentially have, we are essentially talking about 2% of our GDP that gets impacted because of the tariffs that are being brought in. As far as India's good exports are concerned, it does not really have, that kind of an impact that one would have expected. But having said that, it's about the relationship that both the countries have been working towards. And we've achieved a great mile. And an argument that has been made by even the Western authors here that, look here, you're pushing India away. And that isn't really going to work in the interest of the United States of America.
No, clearly, relationships are at risk. Even if the personal relationship between the two leaders is as good as they tell us it is, we've had 25% reciprocal tariffs, 25% Russia-Ukraine penalty tariffs, and requests, demands by President Trump that the EU impose 50 to 100% tariffs on China and India because of their purchases of Russian fossil fuels. We have the latest pharmaceuticals tariffs, which admittedly don't affect India very strongly because most of India's pharmaceutical exports to the US are generics, not branded or patented items. But we also should not forget that we had the H-1B visa restrictions imposed, $100,000 cost to a would-be employer for a H-1B visa, 70% or more of which have in recent years been held by Indian, mostly technically trained people. So again, these are things that hurt India, but also hurt the US. They all need to be addressed. And it is good to know that negotiations are going on, although one cannot, I think, infer much from the statement by Mr. Lutnick, who's not really part the high-level, intense negotiations that have been going on for quite a while now and will be going on quite a bit longer. This is not going to be settled anytime soon.
Professor Nalapat, I want to bring you in. If you really look at the tariff spree that President Trump has been on and the impact that it has had on the Americans, what they say, the argument that was made by President Trump was to basically rationalize it, be it much more equitable. But it seems to have been getting a reverse impact right now in America. Do you believe that this is sustainable to begin with?
Let me say that I joined those who argue that there should be a strong India-US relationship. And if you look back at my writings, that view goes back several decades. Having said that, I'd like to point out that what Commerce Secretary Lutnick has said, I mean, he's basically, in effect, I don't know what his intentions were, to drive a wedge between the US and the most populous democracy in the world, India, which is also a very strongly developing market. And it's now, by PPP terms, number 3. And it's a very important market for every country, including the US. And Brazil, by far the largest country in South America. Now, I mean, to be frank with you, I can't understand this kind of burst of rhetoric. But of course, I mean, if you look back at the history of Commerce Secretary Lutnick, he was a lobbyist. He was a very well paid with a great title, but essentially he was lobbying for certain vested interests. And quite possibly, he's lobbying on behalf of US agriculture, dairy, and other companies that are looking at coming to India, and frankly, at the expense of the Indian dairy farmer and the Indian, and the agricultural sector. We are talking of the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And no government in India, I can assure you, is going to sacrifice them for the sake of a handful of companies. I repeat, a handful of companies in the United States. I think that's important to realize that. And the second point I'd like to say, I am rather confused for a simple reason that the only country that is really benefiting from this storm between India and the US is China. And Mr. Lutnick, I mean, I'm sorry to say that if you look back as a history as a lobbyist, we have to check and see how many funds came from sources linked to the CCP. Because what he is saying is basically meant to drive a wedge between India and the US. And that makes no sense, except that it suits the interests of China. So, I mean, I'm frankly, I would like to say that, I think it's important. I mean, there has been some check at the FBI. I think there needs to be a recheck of that and check if any of the funds with which Mr. Lutnick has been associated has a direct or indirect relationship with the People's Republic of China. There are tens of billions of dollars, possibly nearing 100, are spent annually in the US.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry.
Lobbying.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry I have to interrupt you here because I'm getting in some more breaking news now coming in. There is a breaking development taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. I'm sorry to interrupt you all. We've just got a breaking news that suspected explosion that has taken place on Draba Road in Surankot area of Poonch district. In fact, forces have been rushed to the spot as well as FSL teams have been called in. We do not know what's the nature of the explosion at this point in time and whether at all any security checkposts have essentially been targeted or not. My colleague Goswami joining us on this broadcast. Goswami, what's the latest?
Shovan, what we are getting to know that it is inside an army installation that was there, that an explosion has taken place. Soon after getting the information, the senior army officers from the nearby area, as well as the FSL teams and the senior officials of Poonch police, they have now reached the spot, and the nature of the blast is being ascertained. We are
Could
told
you help
that
us understand, Goswami, if you could just explain the area where this explosion has taken place?
See, Shravan, this is in the Surankot area. Though this area has an past precedence that there was a multiple terror-linked activities there, but when this comes to this specific incident, it was the Rashtriya Rifles of the Indian Army that was deployed there, and it was their installation only where the explosion has taken place. We are hearing some more information that is yet to be ascertained, but for now, what we got to know from the officials
is this inside an army installation or is it outside? Any specific details are you getting it?
Shravan, after speaking to the officials in the Indian Army, it is inside the army installation that an explosion has taken place, and now it is being ascertained that what kind of explosion it was.
In terms of casualties, is there any update that you're getting in from the J&K police? Have they been able to ascertain whether at all there was security personnel present where the explosion took place?
Injury is what we are actually getting to know, that there has been one injury, that is I'm now reading, one injury has been reported to an army jawan, though his fate is still unknown and more details are awaited on this, but an explosion took place in which one army jawan got injured.
Well, just let me quickly recap of what we know so far. I'll request you, Goswami, to stay with me as I take our viewers through the details coming in. Roughly around 8:45 this evening is when my colleague Goswami got the information that an explosion has been reported from Draba Road in Surankot area. This is in Poonch district where the explosion has taken place. We're being told that this is inside an army installation. However, with regards to casualties, no reports coming in as of now. The FSL team has already reached the spot, and as my colleague Goswami has been describing the area where the explosion has taken place. Remember, this happens to be in the hinterland where the explosion has actually taken place. A developing situation right now. Goswami, any further details that you're picking up?
No, Shravan, only this detail that I managed to get from the police, what Indian Army is saying, that they will be coming out with a statement shortly. They are saying they are ascertaining the reason that what led to this explosion. Because what has happened that this was during the evening hours. It was post the training when these troops undergo training. It was after that. So there was no chance that it was during training it has happened. And only one Jawan was present at the place where this explosion was reported, because it was a loud bang that was heard, and then additional troops rushed to the spot.
Well, thank you very much, Goswami, for getting us the latest details. A developing situation. We'll be keeping a close track. Sorry, we had to cut out of the debate of the developing situation taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition. Coming up at 9 p.m, the political blame game after the stampede that's taken place in Karur. Is there a tacit understanding between Vijay and the other political parties as support pours in for Vijay? Well, questions being raised as to what was the state government really doing. All this on the other side with my colleague Niranjan and Abhishek.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
ये बड़ी गाड़ी वाले ऐसे ही रश चलाते हैं। अरे चुप, तुमने तो गाड़ी वालों को ही विलन बना दिया। ये देखो।
Karur strategy sparks political firestorm in Tamil Nadu. From Kumbh and Bengaluru earlier to Karur now. What ails a crowd management system? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
मुझे लगता है सर कि एक खिलाड़ी उस मूवमेंट के लिए मेहनत करता है। अगर उसने एक प्रोफेशनल गेम स्टार्ट किया है तो वो एक सपना लेके शुरू करता है उसको कि वो पोडियम पे खड़ा है बीच में फर्स्ट नंबर पे और राष्ट्रगान बज रहा है, क्योंकि वो मोमेंट सबसे अलग होता है। अगर एक शब्द में पूछा जाए तो वो ज़िंदगी का सबसे बड़ा सुकून है। उस टाइम हमें कुछ याद नहीं रहता, सिर्फ हम इमोशनल रहते हैं और ऐसा लगता है कि हमने अपने देश के लिए एक फ़ौजी वाला काम किया है। उस टाइम पे एक फ़ौजी जैसा महसूस होता है।
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
मेरी गाड़ी ठोकेगा? पर गलती तो आपकी है। मेरी गलती? जानता है मेरा बाप कौन है? ये देखो, पापा और गलती दोनों याद आ जाएंगे। अब देखा किसने सिग्नल तोड़ा?
Cubo dash cams. Get smart, get Cubo.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
In the heart of the jungle roams the finest creature, and through the chaos of the sparkling city lights, I am reminded of the timeless valor of the majestic tiger. In life's wild journey, we have one shot to thrill. And when done flawlessly, we unwind and allow our spirits to rejuvenate. Royal Ranthambore, India's finest, yet.
गाड़ी वाले ऐसे ही रश चलाते हैं। अरे चुप, तुमने तो गाड़ी वालों को ही विलन बना दिया।
ये देखो।
Karur strategy sparks political firestorm in Tamil Nadu. From Kumbh and Bengaluru earlier to Karur now. What ails our crowd management system? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
मुझे लगता है सर कि एक खिलाड़ी उस मूवमेंट के लिए मेहनत करता है। अगर उसने एक प्रोफेशनल गेम स्टार्ट किया है तो वो एक सपना लेके शुरू करता है उसको कि वो पोडियम पे खड़ा है बीच में फर्स्ट नंबर पे और राष्ट्रगान बज रहा है, क्योंकि वो मोमेंट सबसे अलग होता है। अगर एक शब्द में पूछा जाए तो वो ज़िंदगी का सबसे बड़ा सुकून है। उस टाइम हमें कुछ याद नहीं रहता, सिर्फ हम इमोशनल रहते हैं और ऐसा लगता है कि हमने अपने देश के लिए एक फ़ौजी वाला काम किया है। उस टाइम पे एक फ़ौजी जैसा महसूस होता है।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for the debate.
Tibet, filling in for Arnab Goswami, me and Niranjan. Friends, what's this big rallies fixation that our politicians have from Bihar to Tamil Nadu? And then when tragedies happen, the kind of political tourism we see, which perhaps only a politician is capable of doing, with their own understanding of what's saddening and heartless at the same time for them to be doing. The fact that 41 lives have been lost in Karur in Tamil Nadu, it's almost a repeat of poor planning and crowd management that led to those deaths in Prayagraj during Kumbh, same during the Kumbh in New Delhi at the railway station. We saw poor crowd management leading to stampede and deaths inside a hall, cinema hall, in Hyderabad when Allu Arjun's movie was being released. Same with Bengaluru after a cricket victory, and now in Karur. And imagine, when the mishap, the tragedy happened, only 500 cops were there. Now for the VIP bandobast, because all these leaders want to go and see and want to be seen. There is an ADGP rank officer, there are 3 IGs, there are 2 DIGs, there are 10 SPs, there are 2,000 cops in Karur. And that's perhaps the real tragedy, friends. And that's what we're going to discuss. What ails India's crowd management system? Niranjan.
Abhishek, we'll play the full story out right now and go straight to the debate. But I just want to make one point. You and me have covered rallies like this, right? You know what I saw different in the rally that Vijay, actor turned politician Vijay, is holding mostly on weekends? They have this craze for getting drone shots. I haven't seen another political party shoot drone videos and try and portray intensity, try and portray large crowds, try and portray that they have mass support. More than mass support, this was a craze. Many were seen there, or many were there just to catch a glimpse of him. That's why mostly you will see that the victims are women and children. There's a lot more we need to talk about. First up, here's the story of a man who's gone into hiding after the stampede. Take a look.
41 people, including women and children, crushed to death in a political rally on Saturday evening. The FIR on the stampede in Karur mentions actor turned politician Vijay's late arrival as one of the reasons. His party, the TVK, is blaming a 30-minute power cut. They're accusing the police and DMK of conspiring.
The incident was solely and motivated by the political party, including DMK and its functionaries. So we made various allegations and we have enclosed various photos and other reliable documents in our typeset. The matter will be taken up on Friday.
The Stalin government says the power cut was for safety reasons. The AIADMK is also hitting out at Stalin for the video message, calling its investigation commission an eyewash. TVK, which did not bother to make adequate arrangements for their supporters, is now seeking protection for their leader, Vijay. The NDA has constituted an 8-member delegation. Petitions are now pending before the Madras High Court. And despite all of it, The victims' families, most of whom were there to catch a glimpse of their favorite star, their dreams shattered forever.
ஃபோன் பண்ணி இது மாதிரி 200 காசு கொடுப்பா, நான் முடிவெட்டு போயிட்டு வந்துடுறேன் அப்படின்னா. நான் வேலைக்கு வந்துட்டா காசு என்கிட்ட இல்லைடா, நான் மத்தியானம் தரேன், மத்தியானம் கொடுத்து என்ன பண்ணுறது, இப்போ கொடுப்பா அப்படின்னா. சரி வண்டி எடுத்துட்டாங்க வா அப்படின்னா. அப்புறம் சின்ன பையன் வண்டியில் வந்து ஒருத்தராது பைப்பேஸ் ரோட்டில் நீ வந்தாருண்டா அப்படின்னா. சரி அம்மாகிட்ட போனது, அம்மாவை பேசுதுன்னா. சரி அம்மாகிட்ட ஃபோனை கொடுத்தியா, ஃபோனு கொடுத்ததுக்கு இது மாதிரி மீட்டிங் கூப்பிட்றாங்க போயிட்டு வாங்கிட்டேன்னா. நான் வேலை பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கிறேன், நீங்கள் என்னவே பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வச்சுட்டு மேடம் சாயங்காலம் வந்து பார்த்தேன். நம்ம மேலே போயிருக்க மாட்டேன் தான் நான் வந்தேன். வந்து பார்க்குற மீட்டிங்கு போயிட்டுனாங்க.
The political blame game will continue. The rallies will go on. But in a poll-bound state, will those who lost their lives get justice?
And on this debate, ladies and gentlemen, we decided to do this on top of 9 p.m. and not focus on India-Pakistan, because we as a network on Republic have decided to boycott India-Pakistan cricket. We have not covered it.
Yeah.
Except for the political controversy last evening, we have not covered it. This is the subject to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. R. Rajagopalan is a senior journalist joining us live. He's in Bengaluru this evening. Pratibha Prahalad is an artist and a political commentator, socio-political commentator, live from Delhi. Sanjay Sahai is a former IPS officer, founder, director, TechCon Pro. Apsara Reddy is a national spokesperson of the AIADMK. Salem Dharanidharan is a DMK spokesperson. Ranjana Nachiyar is a TVK spokesperson. Pularao, pro-DMK, backs DMK most often. C. Rajashekaran. Okay, I'll change that. I'll see whether you change your... One sec. C. Rajashekaran is a lawyer. Well, I'll start with Ranjana Nachiyar, because Ranjana, when the story broke, we were live in Republic. I think we broke the story a little before 7 p.m. And you were live that evening. You came on the phone. And I remember we had a reporter, Koteshwaran, outside the hospital in Karur.
Yes.
One of the comments you made, which a lot of people were responding to, in fact, viewers texted me when we were in the studio asking you those questions. You said, when I asked you where is Vijay that evening, you said, Vijay is a celebrity. You first said he's still at the rally, he didn't go anywhere, but you were wrong. I told you that there was a shot of him at Trichy Airport. And then you said, no, he was at the Trichy Airport because celebrities, if they stay there, it gets worse, so he had to leave. I'm asking you 3 days later. I spoke to you on Saturday night, it's Monday night. Where is Vijay?
Now, you are asking now?
Yes, where is he?
He's asking for the permission to go and meet Karur people who lost their lives. He wants to go and meet the people who lost their lives, family, and show his condolences to them. So once the permission is granted, our leader Vijay will go and meet the people who are in Karur, lost their lives, for sure.
Okay, now, why didn't he stay back in Karur? Why didn't he's an actor. Your party likes to take these huge shots, these drone shots.
Much more worse, even if he's going to stay there. Because there is completely a very worse conspiracy created by DMK people.
Like what?
It might
What kind of conspiracy, ma'am?
Things which might happen to our leader Vijay also.
No, you're saying that. 1 minute. Can I ask you what? 1 second. Can I ask you what kind of a conspiracy are you alluding to? Conspiracy to gather the crowds? Is that a conspiracy to gather more crowds than what was allowed? Is that the conspiracy?
Something like this stampede, the DMK people wants to happen. They want to play with the lives of people just to target our leader, because our leader is very often targeting DMK is our enemy in politics. So the people in Karur, the minister, Senthil Balaji, our leader have spoken about the Senthil Balaji minister. At that moment, some people have thrown a chappal on our leader. And then some happenings in the crowd. That created the stampede.
Okay,
That is a
I want to
cheap
show you a
politics
video
created.
now. Ranjana ji, I want to show you a video.
Every other person knows. And also the crowd management is a shared responsibility.
I want to show you a video because I'll bring in Dharani Dharan, the
Police is
DMK spokesperson.
accountable. The state machineries are accountable.
Correct. I agree it's a shared responsibility. I completely agree with you. That's why I want to show you this video. Let's show the video where there's an ambulance passing while Vijay was speaking. And that's the part where he mentions that a girl has gone missing. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, if you just increase the volume a little bit, what you can hear Vijay saying is, of course, he's speaking about, he says he starts
24/7.
Then he starts talking about some fact check. He says some of these fact checkers will talk, they like to question me, they like to poke me on facts. And then suddenly, and then there are ambulances. You see that, ladies and gentlemen, there are ambulances, not one, not two, two as far as your eye can see, but maybe there were more. Perhaps indicating Salem, Dharani Dharan, that perhaps something had happened by then, because at the same time he's told in his ear that a girl has gone missing, right? So maybe something had happened at that moment, right?
24/7.
They claim that there's a conspiracy. You brought in the ambulance. They claim there's an ambulance conspiracy. What is this ambulance conspiracy we are hearing about? First time that we're hearing about this, Dharani.
See, anyone. So I will also like to rebut the previous TVK's spokesperson. I'll have to actually go in 5 minutes. So the firstly and the foremost, the important thing I have to say is, anyone can come to politics, no problem. You can have any qualification, but only one thing is completely important. That is to take accountability, right? Vijay has failed to take accountability, failed to meet the media. Okay, he's a star, he can't go. What has stopped him from staying around the vicinity of Karur and then talking to his cadres, strategizing to help his fans? People who have died, people who are injured are his people, right? People have come to see him. Okay, assume Vijay couldn't go to the hospital, to the house of the deceased people. What has stopped the second-rank people from going? Like there is General Secretary, Deputy General Secretary, there are a number of cadres that they have, right? Why couldn't they not gone? Which is something I find ridiculous. It is because they see politics as theatres and as a theatre, and I think that they don't understand politics as a 24/7 job of social service. Even in AIADMK, if something has happened, I'm sure immediately the opposition leader would have gone, or even in BJP they would have gone. In fact, in that same day, my chief minister was there at 2 a.m. 9 p.m. he convened the meeting. 2 a.m. he was there. So this politics can't be just theatrics, and I think that is what has resulted in loss of life. Okay, she says, and how can you come and say it is a conspiracy? Let's logically analyze this. 8:45 was when he was supposed to come in Namakkal, right? And then go to Karur at 1 p.m. When did he leave Chennai? At 8:45. When is he reaching Namakkal? 12:45. When is he going Karur? 7 p.m. Shops were shut because they were afraid of vandalism. So no food, no water was given by TVK because lack of organization capacity or lack of knowledge. So because of that, people had not had food nor water, and they fainted. Why were the ambulance going? Even in Namakkal itself, 37 people fainted and has to be taken to the hospital. So ambulance were going because people are fainting because of no water and food, because he was delayed. And again, because he did not, usually for the entire length of his roadshow, he used to stand on the podium and wave to people. This time he did not do that because he wanted to show more crowd. And he got carried away. Did not think. He was thinking more like an actor and not like someone who organizes. No, you don't organize this. And because of that,
but then these are lapses for which we'll grill the TVK. But you know, what was the local intelligence doing? What was the administration doing? What were the cops doing? Because there is substantial time lag between the time that people started gathering and this happened about 6-7 hours. So if the TVK is to be blamed for having that kind of crowd at that place, the local administration shares equal blame for letting that crowd gather without making contingency moves to tackle that.
I'll tell you. So the same location where this rally happened, 2 weeks earlier, ADMK had a rally. 130 policemen were there. For this, 500 policemen were there. When Vijay's caravan was told to stop, not to go further because he does not have permission, he did not listen to the DSP as conveyed by ADGP in the press meet. He went 500 meters further. And what he did unusual was he did not stand in the podium or sitting inside the caravan. And then normally if he's not standing in the caravan, he used to sit in the first row and turn on the lights so that people would see him and go. This you can see in any Tamil news channel. People have commented, because Vijay we couldn't see for 20 kilometers, we followed him. And back then a number of people are coming. You can see police trying to stop, police being beaten up, and police being attacked, ambulance drivers being beaten up, ambulance drivers being attacked, and not just doesn't stop even there, right? There was no way that it could have been stopped. Only person.
But you are again putting the onus entirely on Vijay and TVK. You completely dodged my question, Mr. Dharnis. I don't know what was the local administration doing, except for asking him not to go. I mean, he's a political leader. His followers, fans are there. How can he not go? I mean, there has to be some administrative contingency plan to make sure that if this kind of crowd comes in. You are mentioning there was another rally, AIADMK, perhaps just 3-4 days back or a week back. There had to be a plan which was not there. Now there are 2,000 cops in Karur. Why were there just 500 on that day?
So even the Prime Minister rally had lesser number of cops. The point is not that. The point you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. Vijay, when he was supposed to started from Namakkal to Karur at around 5 to 7, the last 2 hours when he was reaching Karur, what happened was he sat down and then turned on the light in his caravan. And because of that, number of people his fans started following him. Thousands of people. At that point of time, I'm saying Vijay should have stopped this because he's seeing people coming. So either he should have gone up the podium as usual, and then so that people see him and go, or should have listened to the cop and not gone that further 500 meters or another reason why the stampede happened was he started throwing water bottle. His fans see him as God. So when he's throwing water bottle, what happens is people congregate, like people fight to collect that water bottle. Not because they want to drink the water, but because they want to collect it from what he has given. And that was again...
Let Ranjana Nachayar respond to that, because you are making a direct charge, absolving yourself, of course, of all responsibility, but you are making a direct charge as TVK and Vijay.
Can we just open it up a little bit and then we'll come back to Ranjana? Ranjana, I know both you and the DMK have to leave right now. You were there with us for 15 minutes, but I have to get AIDMK, which is the third party in this... I'll just get in a voice from Apsara and I'll come back to you in about a minute. The DMK has a record. Even the DMK has a record of mismanaging events. Dharni, you can't just, blame TVK. TVK should be blamed. I agree with you. But you also have a record. For example, I'll tell you, there was an IF air show at the Marina Beach in Chennai. You know what happened. 5 people died. What happened? Why did they die? They died because of the heat. They died because there was no adequate arrangement for drinking water. They died because the event was held on a day when the maximum temperature touched about 35 degrees Celsius. And they died because they reportedly had to walk 3 to 4 kilometers on a jam-packed road. Now, in this particular case, right, Apsara, yes, the DMK has to answer. Yes, Vijay has more to answer because Vijay's party had made no arrangements. Most people we spoke to that day said, we were told he's coming here at 12, but waited till 7 p.m. 7 p.m., around 7:40 when the story first broke, a little after 8 p.m., and I think 8:15, 8:20 we broke the story, right? But they waited for 7 hours. But
because
what I am surprised...
Because of the engagements happened in Namakkal, because of the traffic...
Ma'am, let me ask you one thing, Ranjana ji. You can talk to Apsara. Would you have sent your family members to a rally like that, where they had to wait for 7 hours? You won't, no?
No.
Definitely not.
Exactly. And you're saying no. You're saying no. Apsara.
Niranjan, we have to first of all understand it's the TVK blaming DMK and DMK blaming TVK. Both are equally culpable. If you ask me, Vijay didn't have the mature enough team or the state apparatus or enough protocols in place to kind of handle a crowd that was swelling. He did turn up late. But the buck stops with the government. The state government has intelligence apparatus. They have reserve bandobast police. They have many mechanisms to control a swelling crowd. If Vijay was coming late to a venue, the police had enough time to plan the swelling crowds. If the crowds were moving in that direction, if the vehicles were moving in that direction, why didn't the state government or the state police act? We see such a hurry in the Chief Minister, Mr. Anbil Mahesh, Mr. Sendil Balaji, all shedding tears, turning up at Karur. When there was Kallakurchi Hooch tragedy, when there was deaths in Marakanam, there was Hooch tragedies happening in multiple places. There was a school attacked when the Education Minister Anbil Mahesh didn't turn up there in Tamil Nadu a few months ago. Then there's Marina incident, the air show that you have cited, when they have not displayed that kind of humanity or urgency then, why now? First of all, they're politicizing the situation. They're not doing the right thing by the people. Even the compensation, I feel, is too less, because the same Mr. Stalin asked during Corona time to compensate each life with 1 crore when it was a global pandemic. When this was something which is the negligence of the state police and the state government, why are they just stopping with 10 lakhs? Second of all, I think Vijay not being there and not being at the hospital, second-rung leaders not being there is questionable, because a leadership of that stature who wants to become the CM, who's claiming to want to be the CM, should show a little more spine, a little more guts. I feel that was lacking when it comes to Vijay. But when it comes to the mishap that has happened, the deaths that are rising, it's definitely the DMK. The buck stops at the DMK and the state government.
Okay, now can we get the non-political view also on this? So we have Mr. Rajgopalan, of course, and then we have Mr. Sanjay Sahai. I would want to go to Mr. Sanjay Sahai first, because I am really, if I see this as a governance issue, as an administration issue, I see this as a management issue. Mr. Sahai, we had that police officer coming out in the press conference suggesting that they had asked or warned TVK not to hold the rally at that place, but still it was allowed. Despite permission not being there, the rally happened, people gathered, crowd was triple the estimate of TVK, and yet the police did not bolster, real-time bolstering of, we talk a lot about AI these days, but there was no real-time bolstering of deployment, bandobast as it is called in the police parlance. So obviously this is like in the case of the New Delhi railway station, so in the case of Bengaluru, so in the case of Hyderabad, and second time in Tamil Nadu, the Marina Beach that Niranjan was talking about, and now. It is just a case of crowd management, poor crowd management skills of Indian police forces.
Okay, so we'll start with point number 1, that people are expendable and they are pawns in this dangerous game of political expediency. Now we come to crowd management. The only thing which has been missing in this whole spectacle from planning, or from the time the Madras High Court, I think 8th of this month, talked about couple of SOPs and couple of parameters. From that time till the incident actually transpired, one thing which was really missing, that was crowd management. It is conspicuous by completely being out of this whole thing. Now we start with the planning. I don't know who decided on the video. I have absolutely no idea about it. But that particular patch of road, it is not meant for public gathering. It is just a patch of road. And this kite flying about numbers. I think people can keep kite flying depending on which side of the aisle they are. So the planning part, the selection of the venue, and then what went in for the execution part of it. When you see these drone pictures, you will be amazed to see that you hardly see any constables. And see, the bandobast is not done by sprinkling constables there. It is not like some Ashirvada or something that is happening. It has a very strategic meaning to that whole exercise. And right now we are talking about the crowd management missing. If we get into the granular details, you will finally realize that the planning itself was missing. So the execution could not have happened. And as you go several steps further, if you are able to get the jurisdictional SP, who should have spoken by now, I think there will be gaping loopholes which will come out of it. Why political parties do batting for government action, I still don't know.
No,
it is the job of the government. It is the job of the government. Government is a neutral entity. It is not this political party, that political party. You can do politics in the political party. As long as the elected legislature, they decide on that particular government. So that's the end of it. It has to be neutral. It is not TVK, it is not DMK. Now what the government has been saying, that we could not have stopped TVK's rally. Now the point is everything is pre-decided. So the police is put in there with a very, very guardrails in a manner to act as per the political expediency. I can take it further at every level. So there's a standard response toolkit of every single government. It will start with a bland FIR. There will be 1 or 2 inquiry commissions, some executive, some judicial. There will be somebody going to this court, that court. So they successfully, all the stakeholders, they're able to create a smoke screen.
Yeah.
What happens in the meantime? You do ex gratia. You do back-end politics. You do something to basically, it is catching eyeballs that something worthwhile is happening. Crowd management starts with the police and the government and ends with the police and the government. Whatever action you are supposed to take on Vijay and his party, I don't think anybody is objecting to that. Even now, if you feel that there is criminal liability, and unfortunately criminal liability in this country is a perception. So for Allu Arjun, it is culpable homicide not amounting to murder, with one person dying there for whatever reasons, mismanagement and all that. Here 40 people died, 41 people died. There is no culpable homicide not amounting to murder. I can go on and on. You see the Bangalore episode. I think whole of the police top brass was out. But the moral of the story is that our politicians are audacious enough to do whatever they feel like and get away with it. You start from Hathras, I'll give you 10 instances. Now the most critical part. I was trying to do some research for one of these debates. There has not been a single case of stampede where the criminal case has ended in conviction. There was one case where the Tamil Nadu government was held responsible, but it did not go down to the people who were actually responsible. So that is the fate of the
sorry to be
cases.
interjecting, but you made a good point, and in fact, it's relevant that I bring this in. Just earlier this month, and Ms. Ranjana Nachayar has left. Just earlier this month, TVK had approached the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court and complained about the tough conditions police was putting on, the holding of those rallies. So, can I take this to Raj Gopalan? Mr. Raj Gopalan, what's this fixation of these politicians and cutting across the political divide of having big rallies, having those drone shoots now, and trying to, create a halo around the leader, damn the crowd, damn the fan base, damn the supporters, even if their lives are endangered. And so if the police puts conditions, like it comes out in the case of TVK, they have filed a petition in the High Court that please don't put these conditions on us.
Abhishek, there are a lot of things to be, told. I must give at least 3 or 4 minutes. The day when I was occurring, I was live with Niranjan, but I could not speak properly. Today, give me extra time. Vijay is a new entrant to politics. He has miserably failed on that day. He should have visited the hospital, but what I learned is that DSP of that area, a senior police officer, told him, sir, you shall rush away from here, don't stay. People are very angry like that. That is why he took the flight. These are all things will come out once Vijay starts to speak. Why Vijay is keeping silent? Number 2, important, it is politics. As Apsara said, the buck stops at CM's table. CM should act. And second, Abhishek, the state of Tamil Nadu, for the last 29 days, there is no DGP. Only acting DGP. The Supreme Court has given, UPSC has given some names, but the Chief Minister wanting to have 8 officers have been superseded. So therefore, there is a difficulty in police patronizing this type of thing. Second, now coming to the politics of it. Today, Nirmala Sitharaman was there, Union Finance Minister, to console as a Prime Minister's special representative. When it was happening, Abhishek, the common interest of Mr. Rahul Gandhi was to talk to Mr. M.K. Stalin. There the matter ends. But he spoke to Vijay also. Right. Actor Vijay. What does it mean? He kara vote chori kara. But he is chori the ally of DMK. Your own ally. You want to have travel in 2 boats? This is politics. The people, 41 deaths, have slowly forgotten. Now politics is taking over. Now there are lots of cases filed by the state government against the TVK and also against other journalists and YouTubers also. Things are going worse. The DMK wants to suppress Mr. Vijay because he has got 2 options. One, either he proceeds with the political formation or retire, like Rajinikanth and Kamal Hassan done. So things are very worst. Third important point I would like to say, crowd, everyone debated about crowd. Yes, bad management. But another factor is there, Abhishek, that is cinema. Red Giant is a company owned by Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin. He is controlling all the film releases. Vijay is opposed to that. There is a politics in the cinema field. Vijay is opposed to Udayanidhi Stalin. Now, you asked about Vijay leaving the venue immediately after the accident, the stampede. But why should Mr. Uday Stalin return from Dubai at 6:30 a.m. and leave for Dubai at 9:30 p.m.? In a 2 hours, he was there only for photo opportunity. So therefore, DMK is at fault. It is an election year. Things are going to be very difficult. Vijay should learn and stay in politics, because he approached the citizens of Tamil Nadu, voters of Tamil Nadu, with the brand of newcomer like third force. Vijay has got lot of vote base. Whether it will be converted into votes or not, we have to wait. DMK is very rattled with the entry of Vijay. That is the story of it. Yeah. It's a politics. There's no crowd or etc. These are all. If state government wanted to control the crowd, they would have very well done it. Why did they encourage? No, why they are not arresting Mr. Vijay?
Are you in agreement with the TVK charge that there was conspiracy? There was conspiracy, Mr. Rajgopalan. Are you suggesting that the power cut happened because the government there wanted disruption?
Abhishek, they filed in the Madurai High Court. They said it's a conspiracy. They went on record. Why should I vouchsafe for it? They said it in the High Court. They should go and talk to them. Now, High Court is taking the matter tomorrow. Let us wait for it. CBI inquiry, they are asking. One-man inquiry, they don't accept it. Now, ADMK, TVK, every political party is asking. But why should Mr. Rahul Gandhi speak to them from South America, from Bogota, where they know he's there?
Yes, Bogota.
Therefore,
Colombia. Niranjan, did you say Colombia?
He's in Colombia. No?
Is he in Colombia?
He is in Colombia.
You sure?
He is in Colombia. Why should he speak to Vijay? That means that congressmen are now being taken for them. Vote chori keh rahe. Itna bid hai. Itna election system hai. Still he says vote chori. 39 people they elected from Tamil Nadu. All DMK and Congress. But still he says vote chori in the North India. He cannot go and talk to with citizens in Tamil Nadu. Now Stalin is suspecting whether Mr. Rahul Gandhi will go with Vijay or he will stay with India.
He has called both. I think Rahul Gandhi from Colombia, and it's interesting he's in Colombia. He has called both Stalin and Vijay. So I think he's keeping his options open.
Abhishek, I want to bring in Pratibha Prahlad now, along with Pullarao and Rajshekaran, because they haven't spoken. I want to show you a picture, Pratibha ji. I think this video actually summed up the state of politics, not just in Tamil Nadu, but in India, because in Tamil Nadu, we get to see it. In many other parts of the country, this is not recorded, because it's become a craze now to shoot these videos, right? In one such video, can we show the video where the crowd, where there's a fan who's just being thrown? Look at this, okay? That's Vijay in one of these crazy rallies. There is a crowd there. Do you see that guy there? Let's just pull that video back, play it again, cue it again. And you will see here, one of his bouncers lifts him and throws him off the stage. One of actor Vijay's bouncers picks him up. Look at that. He picks him up and throws him off the stage. Now, the thing is, Pratibha ji, and we have covered many such rallies like this. Now, there was a time when people would genuinely go to watch or hear speeches. Now, we are hearing that in many cases, not just in Tamil Nadu, but across the country, people, like it is, right? They pay them. They bring them in buses, like, 50, 100, 500,000 buses. They pay them 500 or 1,000 rupees and a meal and a bottle, we are told, right? And then I'm very happy that Vijay has trained his spokespersons well. I just asked Ranjana, would you send your family member to the rally where Vijay was addressing? She said, no, I wouldn't have. Obviously, she wouldn't, right? Because she wouldn't want them to be trampled, pushed, shoved, kicked around on, God knows, God forbid, maybe even like die in a stampede, right? Now the question is, ma'am, we have many such debates. But at the end of the debate, we meet again during another stampede. That's the tragedy, isn't it? Pratibha ji, it is sad, but we have to talk about it. We meet every time there's a tragedy, we say, oh, this is sad, we should do something about it. And then we meet again a few months later, sometimes weeks later, right? And we discuss another tragedy. And there's nothing done. Absolutely nothing done. And that evening, I remember MK Stalin, who should have, like Mr. Rajgopalan said, MK Stalin, who should have taken responsibility, was the first one. He was hyperactive, overactive. His press went overboard. They were putting out Stalin here, Stalin this, Stalin here, Stalin this. He went to the hospital also the same night, right? Fact is, he was answerable. He is answerable.
So, my response is that there is zero value for human life in our country. There are VVIPs, there are celebrities, there are politicians, there are the rich folk, and then there are all these ordinary people who have absolutely no local stand-eye. They have nothing at all in this country, and their lives don't matter. And we have to understand this, and we've got to speak about this, because whichever party you speak about the Congress, you speak about TVK. I mean, TVK is a brand new party, and like all of you have said, they didn't have an organizational structure to take care of people or crowd management or whatever. But what about the legal and regulatory mechanisms in our country? Where are they? I mean, how do you identify space? Does that space where you're going to have a rally have enough emergency exits? Does it have enough buffer zones? Does it have, adequate space for that many people to gather? And in case of an emergency, in case of a tragedy, can an ambulance enter the place and take people to hospitals? What are the safety protocols? We have zero safety protocols in place in any public gathering. I mean, you spoke about, the RCB in Bangalore, you spoke about the other things, but wherever you know that people are going to gather, shouldn't regulatory mechanisms be in place? Shouldn't safety protocols be in place? I mean, those are, the work of the public authorities. And they have to make an assessment and decide how many police force should be deployed over there, and what kind of police force should be deployed, and how many people should be allowed to enter that particular place. But no, there is no assessment of crowd. There's no assessment of how to manage crowd. There's no assessment of who the speaker is and how they're going to come. And this guy, this Vijay, is a film star. So obviously people in Tamil Nadu don't have mind. They have a heart. And they're emotional about film stars. I mean, they used to defy them at one time. They used to build temples for film stars at one time. So these people are going to go to look at this fellow. I mean, look at this Vijay. And he has no idea how to manage crowds. And this morning, this evening, in fact, after, Republic contacted me, somebody from Tamil Nadu told me that the electrical, department in charge of Karur has said that one of the TVK members himself called up and said that when Vijay, addresses the gathering, the electricity should be switched off. Now, obviously, Vijay does not have an organization in place.
Do you know why they would do that?
He does not have a proper organization. He does not have a cadre. He does not have volunteers. He does not have a cadre, and then he's trying to manage a crowd. And of course, people are going to go and see a film star. And like Mr. Rajgopal said, whether this crowd is going to translate to votes, none of us know. We'll know only when the results come out. Until then, none of us know whether these kinds of crowds translate to votes and whether this man is actually going to become the chief minister. We don't know. So I blame Stalin. Yes, I blame DMK. I blame TVK. I blame everybody. But most of all, I blame the lack of safety protocols in this country for any public gathering. And regulatory mechanisms and real-time monitoring. Why don't we have real-time monitoring? Why don't we have regulatory mechanism in place? And shouldn't those mechanisms be legally enforced, and not politically enforced? I'm saying legally enforced, despite whoever the politician is, despite whoever the celebrity is who's addressing the crowd.
Ma'am,
that is my question.
That evening, in fact, when we asked TVK, which is Vijay's party, why they held an event of this scale if they couldn't handle it, you know what they said? They said, he's a celebrity and celebrities are usually late. When I asked her, why is he late? Why did he keep them waiting for 7 hours? She actually told me, everybody does it. Everybody's late. And he's a celebrity, And they said, and when I said, there are rallies that are conducted. I specifically mentioned there are rallies that are conducted by, for example, the BJP or any of these parties that can afford to conduct these rallies because they have the organizational power. She said, but those rallies are better managed because, the crowds are lesser. She actually said the crowds are lesser. She said, Vijay is a celebrity, so more people come to watch him. I was just shocked with how brazenly people are defending it. But that doesn't give Pularao, the DMK, the opportunity to really get away. The state government is answerable.
I think Ms. Prahlad has said a very relevant point. You forget this party, that party and all that. There is no regulatory mechanism. The National Disaster Management Authority should have protocols that when such and such a crowd assembles, there are trigger points, you stop it. How can a political party...
Sorry, Pularao, you are speaking after a long, wait, but I'm just, you need NDMA for this. Otherwise, for everything, you would say hands off. You don't want any national body. You don't want Government of India to do anything. Tamil Nadu is capable of doing everything. Let
me finish. North Tamil Nadu, you had the biggest stampede in New Delhi railway station, 1 mile from the railway ministry. Did anybody get sacked for that? 1,000 were injured. You forget all of that. It is not a question. Let me finish my sentence. You see, in a state, if a government says, stop that other leaders' meetings, it doesn't work. It's not viable. They say you took away our crowds, you stopped our buses, you sabotaged our meetings. It doesn't work like that. You need a neutral body, and then this point, I agree with Ms. Prahlad. You need a neutral point. You need protocols. You need somebody. There is no protocol. You have what constitutes a stampede? What constitutes a stampede creating situation? What constitutes something else in this arena? Will somebody stop it? First of all, I want to ask you, we have a very archaic, ancient system of rallies. No other country is doing this. No other country in Europe, America. They earmark stadiums, they earmark public spaces, you hold your meeting there. This is all political parties are doing it. You take cars, hundreds of cars.
Do you agree that we should do that?
Yeah, definitely I believe you should change the system of canvassing. Why should you occupy my roads? Why should anybody else? You have to change the system. And so many people have died. So many people are miserable. What has happened there? It's not a small thing. We are not discounting 40 people. Maybe 100 people died. And it's not a small thing. They are rightly so. You have to change the system. It's very easy to say. A lot of good postmortems have been done. Very rarely is a postmortem in a mortuary goes wrong.